You shouldn't believe in me either. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Everybody riot, organized chaos, nobody quiet. We gon' try a seance. Communication and communion with the world's greatest icon. Station as a human, yet he's listening to my song. Hype John, this that no nigga with the bass and the bang, make it do. Yo, hit you with the five elements like five elephants. Let him know I'm relevant, I'm heaven sent, telling him we're from a whole nother galaxy. I'm actually born from the static sea. Ass to be crazy, I'm trying to be amazing. Next big thing kinda has a nice ring. Bada boom, bada bing.
All right, and we are live here on HamiltonRadio.net channel HR2. I am your host, John Brecco, and I've got a very special guest today. After weeks of doing a whole bunch of group shows, I get to do a one-on-one sit-down with somebody, and I'm very, very happy to introduce her, LA comic Kat Alvarado. I hope I pronounced that right. Did I?
No, it's
No?
Alvarado. And I just realized it says Wagner on my computer. That's my old married name. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I saw that. I was like, wait, what is that?
Oh, boy.
Before the picture popped up, when I saw Catherine Wagner, I got so confused. I'm like, that can't be the right person. But I know I sent the link to you, so that's so weird. But yeah, anyways, we got Kat Alvarado on. And first I want to ask, because you've had a hell of a day just getting here. So how you doing? Is everything all right? How you handling everything going on?
Oh, my gosh. It's been super stressful. And on top of that, oh, my God, as if the world couldn't be falling apart more, let's not forget the war on women's reproductive rights. Can we talk about that? Holy
Yeah,
shit.
let's talk about it.
So there's...
Before you go, does this have anything to do with the doctor's appointment from today, or?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, 100%. So there's these things called IUDs. For listeners who don't know what they are, it's a birth control device. They put it up a woman's you-know-what, and it hurts like hell to have put in. And you get it put in like every 5 years. And Catholics don't like it because they don't like birth control. I have been through hell and back with my doctor and the insurance company. They're basically like, no one wants to pay for it because they're Catholic, and they're like, well, they're supposed to pay for it, and they're just like... So after I had to be on the phone for hours before then, like taking a bunch of pain meds, then going into the doctor's office to have them do this. It's been a hell of a day.
This happened today?
Yeah, it's been the worst.
Ugh. Bro, the way you were describing that to me, I can only imagine how painful that is getting in, just from the description. I just look pregnant. All right, I can't actually get pregnant despite how I look. And the closest thing I've had to that is IUD spelled backwards, which is DUI.
Right? Yeah, I
can...
described it to you before the show started. Was basically, it's like having a pencil stuck up your pee hole, gentlemen.
Yeah. That's actually exactly how you described it. Is it like a sharpened pencil, or can it be dull? Like, what kind of pencil are we talking here?
I believe it's blunt.
A blunt pencil?
Yeah.
That's bad in its own right, actually. I was thinking, like, what if it's like sharpened and it's getting like shoved up there? Like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, I know, I've never looked at it, but from a diagram, that's basically what it is. They go boop, and they put it up into the inside. Not just, I'm sure you're thinking, well, I fingered a chick. That's different. That's not like a pencil. That's no, this is like the inner part of the women's reproductive system. That's the part that has to grow to open a baby. But if you've never had a baby, it's like...
Oh, yeah. All right. That makes sense.
Out. It only lets sperm in.
Yeah. All right. Gotcha.
It's that part. So does that make more sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. All right. Yeah. But anyways, like I said, you're an LA-based comic. And before, that actually has nothing to do with my question, but before I get into that, Do you have? You said Wagner was your married name. Do you have any jokes about your ex-husband? Do you use that? Any of that, or
Oh
no?
my God, go to my YouTube. You will definitely see all of it there.
Okay.
And you said we're live, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I was gonna say I didn't know if you like wanted to like share how that like inspired it, because I use stuff from my life too. So
Now, I mostly just didn't want to share that last name because I don't want people to be able to privately find where I live and all that. So
yeah, no,
um,
fuck
yeah. So is there no way to edit that?
that. We could probably take out the like first couple of minutes, so it's fine.
Yeah, if we could take out the like last name piece, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it says your last name. It says your real last name now, so you think you're good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we could get rid of the whole part that said like,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I changed it for security reasons. I was getting hit up by like really weird people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't
okay.
even know so. But anyways, the first thing that I really want to ask is how did you really get into comedy? Like what was kind of the driving force behind it?
So I always loved performing arts. So when I was as young as 8 years old, I was always doing like plays and stuff. I was a drama kid. High school, did theater, did speech debate, loved that stuff, and always like got the funny roles. But I still hadn't found my thing yet. And it wasn't until after college. College, I studied business. I didn't even go into the arts. After college, I got my first full-time job and I went, holy shit, I'm so unhappy. How can I bring back my creative side into my life? So I had watched so much stand-up comedy over the years because I absolutely loved it. I was a huge fan. And saw a bunch of dweeby kids at the college at UCSB doing it. And I was like, those kids are a bunch of dorks. If they can do it, I can do it. So I put a set together. I went to a friend who produced a show at a pizza shop and I said, put me up, please. And he said, okay. And he did. And I crushed it. And I've been doing it ever since.
Okay, did you keep on crushing it like after that first time? Because I did okay like the first time, and then like the first few mics I did after that just went terrible. So was it like you just crushed it from the beginning, or?
I was pretty strong from the beginning. Yeah. And then, of course, when you get to like a shitty dive bar mic, of course, that's gonna suck. So when I did my first few shows for people, they were good. And then when I started like really grinding it out in bar shows, then I was like, oh, this is a slog. But you know, I think we all have like a pretty decent first 5 minutes in us.
Yeah.
Someone's trying to like get past that, and you have to be good, creatively courageous. That's when it's scary. You get latched onto those first good jokes you write, and some people never go beyond their first good 7 minutes.
Yeah.
So at some point you have to embrace the bomb so you could try the new material and grow.
Yeah, they get so used to being comfortable with what they have that they never try anything new. And then, you know, you go 2-3 years down the road and it's almost like, why the fuck is this guy using the same material? What I always tried to do, and I've talked about this on the show before, I try to put, you know, 1 or 2 new jokes each time. You know, I'll do like 5 to 7 minutes, and, you know, it adds up after a while. And before you know it, you're able to do a completely new set when somebody asks you for it. So I think that's been what's helped me the best. How do you like approach telling new material? Are you somebody that just does it, you know, at mics and then adds it in from there, or?
It kind of depends. So if I'm just adding on to an existing joke, I'm adding on some sentences. Yeah, I'll do, you know, the existing joke, and I'll always throw in like, oh, like, what if I tried this line here or that line there? So that kind of I try as I go. But if I'm trying to dive into a whole new topic, I don't start by doing it at a show. And the thing about a topic is like you want to have a whole chunk, not just one line. Because that's like, if you do that, you'll always be a one-liner comic. At some point, you have to be brave and like write a paragraph and try that. So that's the stuff where Like I'll really spend a lot of time thinking it through, writing, editing it on my own, and then I go, okay, I've got like 10 minutes worth of jokes on this topic that I want to explore. Then I do them at a couple of mics, and then from there I start, okay, these are the ones that seem like they've got legs, these are the ones that don't, and then I condense that 10 minutes to like 5. Then I'll keep doing that until I tighten it up, and then eventually it'll just be a 3-minute bit. And then I'll go back to the topic and I'll see, let's see if I could squeeze more juice out of it. And then I wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. All right. What's like your favorite like way to like tell a joke? Do you like telling stories? Do you like doing one-liners? Do you like doing impressions? I was looking like through the Instagram a little bit to like try to find like questions to ask. I did notice you do a lot of impressions. So like, what's your favorite kind of comedy to do?
Believe it or not, I actually am kind of new to impressions and doing that kind of stuff for Instagram because of quarantine. You can't do the same kinds of jokes we used to do. It just doesn't work the same.
Yeah.
But for regular stand-up, I actually am more of a rant comedian.
Okay.
I don't know, like I'll find an opinion that I have, and then I'll like kind of rant about it in my notebook until I find some funny points that I've made.
Yeah, I did that with coronavirus. Like the amount of jokes I came up with from the apocalypse is a gold mine. Imagine if zombies just like start coming out, all the jokes I can come up with. If I got this many jokes just from a disease. Like I thought about that in my head, like as like this has kept going on, I'm like, holy shit, how many jokes am I gonna come up with for this? Like,
right? Yeah.
I didn't realize how much it was actually gonna help me like writing comedy, but you know, it really just helped me to like progress like writing, helped me thought of like more ideas, and there's a lot of silver linings I can take from it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. I like the time that I'm able to spend on other types of comedy. Like now that I can put stand-up on hold, I have a chance to do, like you mentioned, the impressions that you see on my Instagram that I always wanted to do. And I've been taking classes at Groundlings here in LA, which is like a big school. It's an improv school, but they're really big on character work for doing precisely that, the impressions. So now I'm like, okay, it's like sink or swim.
Yeah.
Stuff works. Because we can't do as much stand-up anymore, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like that creative need still needs to be fulfilled.
All right, when everything comes back, just because there are a few clubs and a few places starting to open up. I think one opened up in New York. Do you think you're going to take any impressions or characters you made to the stage, or what do you think you're going to do with that?
A friend of mine already booked me for a Zoom show where they want me to do the cucumber sketch, the Judith.
Okay.
Judith, who's like this Minnesotan weird lady who teaches you how to cook. Hold
on. I saw one with the mustache. Is that the one? Or am I thinking of a different one?
That's a different one.
That is? Okay.
That's the dude from Forensic Files.
Yeah, right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I knew I was getting them mixed up with something. I was just like, wait, I saw one with the mustache. I saw Dolly Parton. And then I saw like the thick Spanish accent come out. I thought Sofia Vergara. Like that's what it sounded like to me. Was that what it was?
Well, sort of. It is her voice, but it's me doing my mom as my mother's character, but they're like almost the same. My mom's basically a diabetic Sofia Vergara.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
All right. As soon as I heard the voice, I'm like, who the fuck else could it be though? I think you might have said that, but that was what stuck in my head. All right. But I did also notice you did like a Villains of History podcast, and there was one thing that I wanted to ask about that. Is there, just, villains like from like actual world history? Or are we talking like villains, maybe like super villains? Did we add that in there?
No. Yeah, like real world villains, dictators, serial killers, cult leaders, villains.
Okay. Which one
Yeah.
was your favorite one? I want to ask about it.
Oh gosh, I have so many favorites for so many reasons. Um, mm, think one of my favorite episodes to record was "Girl, We Gotta Talk," which is my episode with Ralph Guerra. I don't know if you know him. He tours with Samuel Conroe from AGT. Does a podcast with him.
What's his name?
And Ralph Guerra.
Okay. No, I don't.
Um, but that episode we did the guy from Heaven's Gate, that cult with the sneakers. Do you know the one?
Yeah, I think.
Marshall Applewhite is the guy's name, and he was a
Okay.
creator who thought there was going to be this hit comet called Hail Bob, and that when the comet comes, it's going to take all our souls, but we got to kill ourselves in order to get on that comet and go to heaven or whatever. And so they all did a mass suicide, and so
Wow.
Applewhite. And then the other one we did, because the first season we did all like 2 villains per episode most of the way. And we also did Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
I've never heard of it.
that was fun. And in both cases, the reason the episode is called Girl, We Gotta Talk, it's like Marshall Applewhite basically had a girlfriend the whole time. And Richard Ramirez got married in jail. So there's a lot of women out there who are getting with guys and are not listening to their friends.
That's always been the case, though.
Like
That's what a lot of women go for. They look for somebody in jail and shit, and then
Right.
they wonder if something bad happens.
or they're like, I don't know, there's something about him. He's so nice. He seems a little culty. He's kind of culty. Something in his eyes.
Maybe I can change him.
Maybe you can change him. No, wait, he might be culty, but at least he's a family man.
Because that just takes being culty completely away.
Right? He's a little culty, but at least he can commit to something. He's a man who can commit. He shows up and he's consistent.
Girl, he committed to his cult and all of his members. He is a family man, okay? Don't try to tell me he's not. You try to break us apart. How could you do that to me?
I know, right? You think that Richard Ramirez is a fuckboy, but you know what? He's a man who follows through on his dreams. More than Trevor, your boyfriend who's a musician, can't even put a band together.
They still play in their garage. They don't even go anywhere. They play in an audience of 3 people, and one of them's their teddy bear, okay?
Right?
Shut the fuck up, Grandma!
Richard Ramirez made the news, okay? What has your boyfriend done? All right? Although I was watching a stand-up. I was watching a late night set. I can't remember the comedian who has this joke, but I love it. It was about the woman who married Ted Bundy when he was in jail.
Oh,
And
shit.
she goes, her name was Carol. They're like, people say Carol was crazy because she married a psychopath. I think it says a lot more that a psychopath was nicer to her than all of the men she was trying to date.
Yeah. Honestly, that's completely true. When the psychopath is the one setting the bar, I think that's a sign where there's a problem.
100%. I mean, it goes both ways. But I'm currently writing a lot about this topic because it fascinates me so much.
What, villains and why they do the things they do?
Well, there's that. And then the women who love them. All of these guys have all these wives. Some of them have mistresses too. And I'm just like, dude, what? Wow.
Honestly, though, I feel that because I have a fascination for villains too. I noticed that when I'll watch different Marvel or DC movies, when they actually outline why they do some of the stuff they do. I'm a big wrestling fan, and I always liked the bad guys ever since I got past the age of 12. Because since I'm a male, every male is supposed to hate John Cena apparently. So Whenever you go to like a wrestling show, you like watch it on TV. Every man is like booing him in the audience. So that's what I feel like every man does. I don't know. As a wrestling fan, okay, this is just what I've noticed.
It's because John Cena gets all the girls.
It's probably that too, but I was gonna say I have a 6 keg. Okay, leave my insecurities alone.
Hey, you know what? I think people with a healthy layer, a moderate layer of fat over their abs are nicer humans.
Right? They're just my abs are just shy. Okay.
Right? They're just hidden.
That's all it was.
They're just vulnerable and don't want to come out until they feel safe.
I need to be in my safe space. Okay.
I'm telling you, I've never not been burned by a guy with abs. Does that follow? Like every single guy I've ever been involved with that had a 6-pack was an asshole to me.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now when you see the 6-pack, you just run the other way.
Pretty much. I'm like, you're not boyfriend material.
Just ran the other way like it was a villain she talked about on her podcast.
Exactly. I'm like, you seem culty.
What is that 6? You seem culty. 7, 8. Okay, you're a leader. Get the fuck away from me.
Just that. Here's the thing. It takes a lot of commitment to get abs, right? It takes thought. It takes effort. It takes conviction to eat all the right vegetables and never eat a single carb and work out like a psychopath. So anyone who's investing that much time into their looks is like maybe.
So you feel like he won't have time for you if he's putting all the time into his abs, right?
Pretty much. If he's putting all the time into his abs and at the time he should be putting into his career, where's the time left for me?
Yeah.
There's not.
You put hours and hours into that just preparing food, and then you got to work out on top of it.
Mm-hmm. And on top of it, they're usually about as emotionally deep as a litter box.
I mean, we actually have 2 cats in my house right now. That shit can get pretty deep. Because I'm the one who cleans it most of the time, so I know this from experience.
Well, I would say I have the emotional depth of the Grand Canyon, so it's all relative.
Pretty much. I was gonna say for them it's as deep as a litter box. When you got the Grand Canyon though, it's not much.
Exactly.
I feel that. I definitely feel that. All right. Question: have you ever thought about doing villains that have been like created in history, like maybe like the Joker, just as like one example?
I might do one of those as like to promote my podcast and get more people to listen to it. Okay. Just like gratuitously do it. But that would be such pandering because the whole podcast is more to do with real life ones. But what would be interesting is to find out, because some of those, and I'm not a huge comic book person, but like I know that Captain America and the ones in that universe were created to reflect the things going on in the world at that time, like World War II, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to learn more about like the inspiration for the bad guys and just do an episode on like, here's what inspired all these comic book bad guys.
No, because like when I think about like the movies that they're in, the way different authors or creators have developed them over time, I'm like, holy shit, there's actually some history to this. Like, I think, looking back at it, when I realized this the most was when my girlfriend wanted to go to the Marvel Museum in Philadelphia. And, they have the history of all the different heroes, villains. They have a bunch of stuff about Stan Lee. And you don't realize how much history there is until you look at it yourself. Because I like it, but she's a much bigger fan of it than I am. She actually kind of like revived my interest in it.
Huh.
So, like, when she got into it, I started like watching like all the shows on Netflix because by myself I'm poor as fuck. I didn't even want to buy Netflix. So, when we moved in together and we got it, I started like watching like The Flash. Arrow I binged watch. I didn't stop till I got through that. I usually stop series like halfway through too. And I don't think I realized how much history was in it until we went that day. So like when you talk about like all the history of it, I had that like running through my mind, and I didn't know if that was a thing or not, and I was really curious.
Yeah. Nope, it's not a thing yet. So we'll see. Maybe I did have one episode that I did for last Halloween on like real life, like the real life versions of horror movie villains. So we did Amityville Horror and Scream, which was the Gainesville Ripper. So we did those two in one episode. That was really fun because we made it Hollywood.
Yeah, that does actually sound pretty dope. I didn't even know you could make that Hollywood shit. That's awesome. Nah, you go. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sure we could figure out more Hollywood ones to do. Like
all right.
the Manny ones or whatever.
Probably. But you want to know what's a really good show that we actually started like binge watching? I had to stop because they go so into it, like it actually like put me in like a bad headspace, but it was so interesting. You ever heard of BuzzFeed Unsolved?
No. What's that?
Okay. Well, we started watching it on YouTube, and these two guys basically go into all these murder mysteries that have gone unsolved. Like I think they go into Jack the Ripper at one point. Who else do they go into? They go into a bunch. That's one of the big ones that I know of. Where I think Ken Rex McElroy was another when he got shot. They go into so many, and they've done like 6 seasons of it. But they go into like all the evidence that was piled up, all the history these guys have going to trial. And, it's just crazy, all the stuff, you can find that's gone unsolved, especially like back like 70, 80, 100 years ago. Like,
Oh yeah. No, it's nuts. And there are different ones, like I'm forgetting the name of the guy, but there's another serial killer he's somewhere in the Midwest, but they think he is Jack the Ripper, and that Jack the Ripper moved to the US and then basically had like a hotel that people would stay at and then get killed.
Okay. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
They stay at it to get killed?
No, like he lures them in, like, oh, be my guest at this inn, and then they get killed. Oh my gosh, it's gonna bug me. So Jack the Ripper, United States. Okay.
Now I'm curious.
H.H. Holmes. H.H. Holmes is the guy. And if I remember this from H.H. Holmes, it's something like he had a mansion or a hotel and people would stay and then they'd disappear. And he had like dozens of victims, maybe hundreds. It's a lot. I'm butchering it. Read about it. I haven't done an episode of H.H. Holmes, but I totally should.
That would be dope. So hold on. So AJ Holmes, he goes to the hotel, right? And we're assuming he's Jack the Ripper, basically. And he gets lured to the hotel, and he gets killed there by somebody.
So he doesn't get killed. The people who he confessed to 27 murders. I'm bringing up Wikipedia. His American serial killer confessed to 27 murders. Only 9 could be confirmed. He's said to have killed as many as 200, but that's just traceable to like pulp magazines. His victims were said to have been killed in a mixed-use building which he owned, located about 3 miles west of the World's Fair. It was also called the Murder Castle. And there was a hotel portion, and it said that people would stay at the hotel thinking it was a regular hotel, and then they would never leave. The end.
You could stay here forever and ever and ever.
Oh yeah, this is such a great deal on Airbnb. It's a wonderful price. Then
I could stay here forever, and it's just 120.
right?
This is where I need to go.
Yeah, there's nothing is no. Always be careful with things that sound too good to be true, because they usually are, is what I'm getting at.
It's gonna say like 6-packs, right?
Exactly.
Something like that. Listen, honestly, you could lure me in with that too. Fuck paying rent.
Was just somebody had a 6-pack of beer, they're like, hey, you'd walk into their creepy house?
Yeah, I might.
Oh no. That's crazy. You know, it would be a good idea for a movie of like H.H. Holmes type scenario where they lure the victims into a hotel, except for it's like a tropical resort in the Dominican Republic, or I don't know, Guatemala. And people are like, oh, this is such a great Groupon. And then they get there and it's like serial killer.
Yeah, you get lured into the hotel. They find nobody there, which is like weird, but you know, it's a scary movie. They're stupid. They don't question it.
I know, that's basically the plot of every scary movie. It's like, we're going on some kind of a getaway to place X. It's like cabin in the woods or something. And then, oh no, the cabin is filled with Japanese horror ghosts.
Yeah.
That kill you in the night.
Yeah, and they won't even know what's going on until they like find somebody's left arm just like on the floor out of nowhere.
Yep, it was Cindy, and she was like, I'm gonna go hook up with this guy I found on Tinder, and then they find Cindy in the broom closet.
By herself. The guy from Tinder was never anywhere to be found.
Nope, he got stood up. Cindy got killed by the Japanese horror ghost.
I was gonna say Cindy got left there when the guy found out what was going on. He was smart. He ran away.
Right? Oh no.
He was smart. That's why they didn't show him in the movie. They never show smart people in scary movies.
They really don't.
I was gonna say, you remember like the old like scary movies, like Scary Movie 2? You remember those?
Oh my gosh, I don't think I ever saw them, but I remember them.
I saw the first two.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, and they just make fun of how stupid people are in scary movies the whole time. And I think it's great.
Yeah, it really is such a dumb plot, because there's so many things that people would do to get out of the situation that seem pretty obvious, but like the people have to keep doing the dumb thing, like, oh, no, guys, I'm going to check up on see if there's any bad guys outside, and I'm going to go alone. Like, no, you wouldn't go alone.
I'll do this. You guys wait in here. I've got this.
Yeah. I could imagine there being one of the girls like, no, it's equality. I'm going to check and see if there's a serial killer outside. And then she dies. And really, everyone should have gone together.
Yeah. I was going to say, they just like fight to like go to see who will go outside. You know, they're not even like focused on the ghost anymore. And then they like both end up dying.
Pretty much.
Something like that.
You know, what terrifies me is Tinder dates, actually. There was a girl who just a couple weeks ago was on a Tinder date and got stabbed. Or maybe it wasn't Tinder. It was one of those online dating apps. But that's scary, because now, at least before it was coronavirus, if you were dating, you could go on dates and get to know the person. You could eat some chicken, talk about it. You know?
Yeah. Just talk about the chicken on a date, because that'll get you a second date for sure.
I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm single. I talk about whatever.
I mean, you can.
If it's funny conversation, then you can talk about the chicken.
Yeah, you got a point. I was gonna say, I think the first time, you know, we hung out. I mean, she's in the other room now because she was watching Titans, and I kind of interrupted the show, so she's probably angry. But I didn't want to interrupt the show, but the charger was here, so I kind of didn't have a choice. But yeah, where the fuck was I even going with that? Oh yeah, how we met. No, the first time we hung out, I remember me and a friend were about to do a podcast that we were doing at the time, and we're both really big anime fans. So I started reaching out to people like, and I put a status up like, if anybody like wants to come on talk about anime or like Marvel or DC or anything related to like nerd stuff, like let me know. And she commented on it, and we started talking about it, and then we just ended up hitting it off. And I forget the kind of shit that we were talking about when I like brought her to do the podcast with me and him. All I know is I got really nervous to start it, and we ended up talking like about Aquaman. I think we only talked about anime for like the first few minutes. And other than that, you know, I just know he started making jokes, and I just fed off of it from there. And I really don't even know what the point of that story was, but whatever you said, it just made me think of it. So
I think just like when you have the right vibe during a date, you can talk about chicken, and if it's funny and fun, it doesn't matter what the subject is, as long as you're having a good time. But then again, maybe don't listen to me because I'm single.
You know what? All I know is it ended up being we ended up feeling happy, and then we went for pizza. So it had a good ending. I mean,
yeah.
And then I know, like, the first actual date where I took her out, I got rattlesnake pasta, which is pasta with jalapenos in it, and she was disgusted.
That's funny.
Because she hates spicy food. So sometimes I get it on purpose just so she won't fuck with it.
What is that? Rattlesnake pasta? Is that like an Italian-American dish? Is that something that white people just made up?
I got it, Unos. I think white people just made it up, and I saw jalapenos, and I'm like, this sounds good.
Rattlesnake pasta. That sounds like something someone who's white would think people in Arizona eat.
Yo, I actually started thinking of Arizona right before you said that. That's
right?
the worst part about that. But no,
like
an
Italian person who lived in Arizona, and they're like, I want to get in touch with my roots and come up with the perfect dish that brings together my Arizona upbringing and my Italian last name.
I love how you're just adding the country accent to it.
Because they're from the middle of Arizona.
We just want to right here some rattlesnake pasta. We gonna do that there.
I mean, that's where rattlesnakes are, is the Southwest, right? Do they have rattlesnakes up in the Northeast?
I remember my family went to go visit, like, some of the rest of my family in upstate New York, and my mom really likes to hike. So I forget what mountain it was, but we were hiking past it, and right as we were going back down, we never actually made it to the top of this one because I was 10 and got lost because I walked away from everybody. And nothing even ended up happening. I was just like, shit, I can't find anybody. So I just walked back the way I came. And all I know is on the way down, we ended up walking past a rattlesnake. Like, he was just like chilling there the whole time we were walking past him.
They're all over.
Normally I'd be scared of that, but like he was just kind of like sitting there, so I'm like, wait, he's just chilling. I know I stood by him for like a couple minutes before somebody was like, let's go.
I was on the internet the other day, as we all are. I don't know. I saw on my newsfeed some guy who killed a rattlesnake. He was like, I found this thing near my family, so I murdered it. And it's just like, you see like chunks of the rattlesnake, and it's just like blood. I'm like, you know what? I get it though.
Was it a guy from Arizona?
I think so, actually.
That fits perfectly. Like, what the hell did he murder with? Like a pitchfork or some shit?
I know, golf club. It looked like he beat the shit out of it. He just found I think it was a hockey stick. He took a hockey stick to it, bashed
so
the
he basically like smashed it in. Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't taking any chances that it would bite him or his family, which takes me to another topic. I'm like so ADD.
The show has been. It's fine.
Huh?
That's what this show has been. It's fine.
Cool. Oh yeah. So the riots, right? The riots are going on in LA, and there's different neighborhoods of LA, right? They were mostly over the weekend in like the rich parts, like the fancy Hollywood areas and Santa Monica and all that. Okay. Well, during the week, they've come to my area, which is the Valley, which is a bit more suburban. So yesterday, the protests and the riots happened in Van Nuys, and I was on Twitter just trying to see like, is it going to come close to me? What's going on? And we did have some protests, but they were like really peaceful and uneventful, which thank God. But on Twitter, though, there were instigators there who are like, if you guys are going to do anything, do it to Northridge and Granada Hills, which is where I live. And I'm all, fuck you. No.
Police.
Right, I'm like, why are you singling us out? We're not rich. We're just middle-class suburbs. Like, hold on.
Girl, you got the finger motions in there. You were like,
No.
You should know.
I'm a Latina. I'll have you all know. Yeah, so I mean, and here's the thing about people in my part of town is it's like everyone who lives in the Valley has lived in the Valley. It's everyone who's like grown up in LA stays there. And frankly, we can't move out because our houses are too expensive, but we bought it really cheap and now we're all stuck. So, okay. So basically like, okay, this is where we're ever going to live. So people in the Valley are like ride or die Valley and have lived through shit. They were around the LA riots in the 90s. There was the Hillside Strangler, there was Richard Ramirez, and there was 94 earthquake. So everyone is packing.
Yeah. No, like, that's probably going to end up being us, to be honest. Like, I can see that now, because, like, this was supposed to be a lot more expensive than it actually was. So I can just picture, me ended up being something like that, me going through all this shit here. I was back here when the war started in 2020, World War III against the coronavirus. Right.
But I mean, the people here aren't bougie. Like, we're kind of the rednecks of Los Angeles a little bit. It's a little bit more conservative, more families, and more guns. And and I'm just thinking, the thing is about my neighborhood, it's a very family area. And I'm like, if any looters decide to go after any of the residences here.
Oh, nah, it's going down.
Oh, yeah. No dad is going to just let that shit happen. Every dad of the family probably owns a gun and has like a baseball bat with like spiked shit on it in a closet somewhere, like ready to his family.
Just ready.
And probably some moms too. I mean, you don't mess with a mama bear.
I can find a usable knife somewhere or something. I can make one. Mm-hmm. It's fine. But
yeah,
I have seen like cop cars like a couple blocks away. Never anything that's like been on our block, but like I've seen it like a couple blocks away, like in the neighborhood. And I'm like, as long as we don't bring that shit down here.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm fully supportive of the protests and everything. Absolutely. I'm supportive of the cause. It's the other stuff where I'm like, please, no, thank you. Don't come here.
I just don't want to be involved in the looting. I'm perfectly fine with being involved in a protest if, somebody wants me to be a part of it, and I'm proud of anybody that's going out and doing it. I just don't want to be involved in anything that's going to hurt anybody.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too.
That's where I stand on it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like anybody will tell you, violence is only going to bring more violence. So, that's the last thing I want for anybody.
Though, you know what I'm glad about is that so far, and knock on wood, we haven't seen them go after anybody in like their homes or anything like that. It's been just after businesses. So, like, thank goodness, because it could be a lot worse. And I'm just glad. I'm just glad that the people have their, like, they have a line that's clearly drawn and that they're not going past.
That's true. I just want them to go after the big businesses. I don't want, the small ones don't deserve that.
Yeah.
Like because I work at Amazon, right? And when I get a notification on the website, like if I'm going to take like an hour of my time or something, and it's about when Jeff Bezos put up a Black Lives Matter post on Instagram and me trying to sit here and take that seriously, like this is taking up time in my day that I really didn't need. And I actually took the time to read it, and he somehow made racial inequality sound like a relative with a drinking problem.
A relatively what?
A relative with a drinking problem. Like, they're going through a rough time.
Oh my God.
Like, excuse me? I'm so embarrassed just to read that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with Amazon. It's interesting. I wonder if they're going to end up breaking it up into smaller companies. Who knows what the future holds? Maybe we're all going to be dead by next Wednesday.
But by the time I'm supposed to go on air next week, we're all fucked. It's over. You got the last show.
I know. I've been a party pooper. Thanks for having me on your show. Bye-bye. I'm glad I checked everyone up and then brought them all the way back down.
That would be so fucked up if you just logged off right now. Just if you actually did it. But I know Ruben does want to get home. So if this is the last show, it was a damn good one. If we somehow survive the next week, we are starting from 9 to 10. So just to let everybody know right now, it'll kind of be a fresh start. So I'm glad I get to do it during Blackout Tuesday. Anybody that doesn't like me putting up my show on this day, I apologize. I did leave it up to my guests, so I do want to make that clear. And I wanted to make sure if my guests wanted to come on that I honored that. So,
are you putting me on the spot? I thought it was a podcast. I didn't really know that it airs today.
No. I'm saying that I just wanted to honor it if you wanted to come on. That's all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I'm glad I did it. I had fun with this show, so thank you for coming on.
It's a dark day. We're going through dark days. Sometimes you just need to do someone to talk to, you guys. So
yeah,
sorry for doing this podcast on Blackout Tuesday. I honestly thought it was going to air a different day.
I had fun. It was worth it.
All right. Well, thanks for having me.
But if you have anything coming up, just let them know really quick.
Yeah, sure. You guys can follow me at the Cat Alvarado on Instagram or Twitter. That's CATALVARADO. Or you can follow me on TikTok at Cat Alvarado Comedy.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you coming on. Definitely want to have you back.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Get you guys next week, 9 to 10, Tuesday.
Super Saiyan, hence the reason that I blaze up. His future may am in invasion in the game, no more mumbling. I'm actually saying something, you name ass suckers. The beach is infinite where I'm from, and the timeline has only begun. You stunned? To the beat.